I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only
What's
one.
up, everybody? Welcome to my channel.
No one
I'm
likes being
Sunshinery. Make
lied
sure
to.
to subscribe and like this video.
You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between
Well, now the show's
us.
over. What does she have left to talk about? And people speculating that the podcast is coming to an end.
It was a big decision to speak out on my experience. You're like, you dummy, you think it's because of the festival content. So now I'm realizing it's a few things.
Now Sandoval is going to be in the upcoming season of the Traitors. Will you be watching that?
No way.
There was a lot of people in comments and just chatter wondering why you hadn't addressed Ariana's comments about you that she made in the reunion.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. We are here for a Rachel Goes Rogue podcast video. Now, we are on chapter 29. Rachel's in the hot seat. Now, this episode was recorded on June 12th, which was after her Lightning in a Bolt festival, where she also made a post about losing 8K followers. I will have some highlights from the festival in this video, but the post originally said, "Welp, I've lost 8K followers since posting all of my festival photos and videos. Oh well. Thank you to the real ones that have been supporting me and wanting to see me thrive. ILY. Here's a pic of me and the dandelion I love, butterfly." And of course, 2 days ago, she edited it just to say, "Here's a pic of me and the dandelion I love, butterfly." Rachel, I don't really think it's all the festival photos that you have going on. I believe it's other reasons. But this episode, Rachel is going to sit down with her producers and she's going to answer some of the tough questions. So let's get right into it. Make sure to like this video before we start. Subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. And make sure your notifications are set to all so you can get notified every time I post a video or go live. I will be continuing to do Rachel Goes Rogue. I know some of you have asked. I will be continuing to do this podcast along with other podcasts. If you have any ideas or any podcasts that you do want me to cover, please let me know. But anyways, let's get into this hot mess of a subject.
Welcome back to Rachel Goes Rogue. This is your host, Rachel Savannah Leviss, and I am answering a few questions that my producers have prepared for me. Yeah, let's get right into it.
All right, so let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Let's just start with how it makes you feel when you hear things like, "Oh, it's so funny, Rachel wanted to leave this all behind, but she still wants to do the podcast," or, "Well, now the show's over, what does she have left to talk about?" And people speculating that the podcast is coming to an end. What do you have to say to that?
I am just so proud that I have created this podcast with the help of my producers, and it was a big decision to speak out on my experience and to defend myself. And it's also a relief that I don't need to be on the defense any longer. I feel like a weight has been lifted off, and I'm now able to take this podcast in the direction that I see it going, which is focusing on mental health and keeping these conversations going about the things that are important in my life, integrating that into my new world that I'm creating for myself. And the feedback that I've gotten from you guys in person is just so heartwarming and encouraging for me to keep going with the podcast. You guys in person have told me that it has really helped you through some moments and helped you have a new perspective on different situations, and especially those that don't have access to mental health care. And that is the part that is so rewarding to me. So it's been about 6 months since we started this podcast. And I feel like I have achieved all of the goals that I set out to achieve with this podcast when I first initially started. I wanted to represent myself in the way that I felt like was true to who I am. I wanted to be able to have a voice and to be able to share my experience and my story in a way that was accurate and in a way that I could speak freely and safely. And I wanted to help other people along the way. And I feel like I really have been able to accomplish those things.
I'm happy that Rachel has achieved what she's wanted for this podcast, but she made it known that this podcast was for her to have a platform to speak about the things that she couldn't speak about because she wasn't on last season of Vanderpump Rules. That's why people are questioning what's going to happen now with the podcast. Because literally, her podcast was, yes, having guests on, talking about hard topics that she had dealt with regarding the affair, regarding what happened after the affair, things like that. But she also was talking about the show every single week. And people were listening because they wanted to hear what she had to say regarding what she perceived was happening, which clearly she was on another universe, but we won't go there. I do believe that she could have done what she wanted from the start without having to talk about Vanderpump. I said that from the very first episode. If you wanted to move on and make this podcast about mental health, help others through different things, you could do that. You chose to do it the way you wanted, and we will see how this podcast turns out now that Vanderpump is over. I know there is still Vanderpump drama happening. There's always going to be Vanderpump Rules drama happening. So is she going to continue to talk about the drama that is being surrounded, even though the show is not on? What is she going to do? I do hope she takes this podcast in a better direction, not only for herself, but for her well-being. If she so wishes to move on, like she claims, you will stop worrying about what these people from Vanderpump Rules are doing, saying, whatever. So, we will see with you, Rachel. But do I have faith? Honestly, we'll have to wait and see. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down below, though.
Now I could see the next 6 months excelling to the next point where we are continuing these discussions and I'm able to continue to make a positive impact on other people's lives.
So could you sort of clarify what people can expect moving forward? Because I think, people might be saying to themselves, oh, is she going to talk about Vanderpump Rules to death? But I don't really think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's really more about you using your experience on Vanderpump Rules to help bring people along the journey to understand what you went through, where you grow from there, different ways that can help you. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So Vanderpump isn't on the air for the time being. And Vanderpump isn't my sole identity. It's not something that I care to take with me for the rest of my life. I would love to build out my life and use that as an experience to inspire something even bigger and better. And I feel like with the show not being on the air every week, we can all kind of take a break from that toxic noise. But my journey continues and I've had such great fan support. And what you guys can expect if you keep tuning in is sharing my journey. I'll be bringing on guests and therapists. We'll be discussing topics like mental health, public shaming, surviving a scandal. That all stems from my experience on Vanderpump Rules. So, yes, I will continue to talk about my experience only because it is my lived experience and that is how I'm able to connect with the topics that are important to me to talk about.
What she really means is she's going to have therapists come on her podcast to talk about the things that she's gone through and what she's feeling and how she can get over it. And maybe that will help other people. So she's still going to share her experience about Vanderpump and what it did to her and have these therapists kind of tell you what you need to do from there to grow and be a better person. maybe this will help her along on her journey. Maybe this will help others. I haven't said that her podcast hasn't helped others. I know there have been episodes that I've really enjoyed and thought were very, very necessary to do, that spread awareness and spread a positive message, and it was one of the reasons I enjoyed doing those episodes. So we will see. Plus, like I said plenty of times before, there's still a lawsuit in the works, and if people don't know about lawsuits, with lawsuits, it could either take really short time because they've come to a conclusion where they can, come to an agreement, you get this, I get that kind of a thing, and it's over and done with. Or a lawsuit can be dragged on for years and years. And most of the time, lawyers like to drag it out because they make more money. I worked in a law firm to know. So I can predict that she will also be talking about different things happening in her life, like the lawsuit that she has going on, which just so happens to be against people from Vanderpump. And I do believe she's going to add people to that lawsuit. That's why they left that clause in there, so they can add more names if need be. And I believe that she hopes that this lawsuit is going to be bigger than what it is right now. And that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.
Kind of funny that you say that. So the show is off the air, which everybody thought, oh, maybe they're going to get a little less noisy, get a breather. The news this week, the topics, the fighting, the bickering, the headlines, it's been a crazy week. Victoria and Billy are fighting. Kyle and Billy are fighting. Schwartz and Joe are fighting. Kyle Chan is Tom's best friend. Victoria is his new girlfriend. Billy was on Vanderpump Rules, was one of, I think, would be a best friend or a close friend. And now they're all feuding. They're unfollowing each other. They're making accusations in all these headlines. They're doing it live on their lives. So it's not that I'm just reading these headlines. I'm seeing it from their mouths as they're making all these crazy accusations about Tom's good friend, Kyle. And then Billy is accusing Victoria of sort of pulling Tom back into a bad way of life. So I guess the question is, wow, firstly, how does it feel to not be in that headline?
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The further away I get from all of this chaos, the clearer I can see how chaotic it truly is and how, I don't know, like it's a lower level vibration type of interactions that happen on the internet and the feuds between different people and the drama and, like people turning against one another. I did see a clip from Up and Adam, and he was interviewing Kyle Chan and Victoria. And Victoria was talking about how when she got involved with Tom, she was not expecting this experience, and it was not enjoyable for the most part. There was a lot happening every single day.
It's interesting because it's not even on the television, right? It just shows off. So all this drama is unfolding online.
Kind of funny that her producer is bringing up the Billy Lee, Tom Sandoval drama that's happening and the Joe and Tom Schwartz drama. She's the one pulling her back into it. Like, what was the purpose of talking about it? Oh, because that drama still happens even though the show is off? Don't you guys already fucking know that? Hello, the whole time that they were filming season 11, we were talking about things that were happening. Even when they weren't filming anymore, we were still talking about everything that was currently happening and what was going on. This is something not new. So, for there to be drama, it's going to happen, especially when there are situations happening that people aren't agreeing with, and there's a divide in a friendship. And that's literally what happened. Billy was trying to help a friend. They thought she was being manipulative and trying to isolate him. And instead of seeing what was really going on, they tried to push her out and make it seem like Tom was all okay, when we know damn well he's not, and we know damn well Victoria's not. And if you have not seen the Billy Lee and Tom Sandoval, Kyle Chan, Victoria situation, I have 3 videos, I believe. 4 4 videos. I have the Up and Adam, I have 2 Billy podcasts, and a quick recaps of everything that happened, and I am doing a long form, which will be out after this. So stay tuned for that. I also did cover the Tom Schwartz and Joe situation as well, both podcasts, plus all of her IG lives, so check that out too if you're interested in that.
I mean, you went through that too.
Yes, it is interesting that all of this drama is online and not on the show. Like Victoria is not even a cast member on the show. But that's the thing too, because she probably feels like she's been misrepresented in ways and she feels the need to defend herself and speak out about her experience. And that's because of all the misinformation or what have you, all the rumors online. And it's not a healthy way to live your life. With all the drama and all the trauma happening and the need to defend yourself, you're living in a very animalistic mindset where it's impossible to expand your consciousness and to be on a higher vibration, for a lack of a better description. It's so important to protect your peace so that you can be like a functional adult. I have no desire to get back into that world.
She might not have any desire to be in any drama, but because she was part of the show, because she's still in the spotlight, because she still has a podcast where she speaks out on things, there are things that she could say on her podcast that could cause drama and cause issues online that can turn into bigger things. And that's ultimately what happened with, well, the Joe situation and the Billy Lee situation. Billy Lee would not have spoken out if Victoria didn't go online and say something to cause issues when there was already issues that they knew were happening and they were not talking about it. But in a way, she provoked Billy to talk about it by leaving that comment, knowing that it would hurt Billy by the statements that she made. Just like Joe going on IG Live after IG Live after IG Live after IG Live after podcast, and telling her story about what happened with Schwartz, which, you know, she has every right to tell her story, but the other person in the situation also has the right to tell their side of the story. And if you don't think that someone's going to not tell their side, then, I mean, you're crazy. Because nowadays, because we have these platforms, people are going to stick up for themselves. People are going to tell their sides to their story. People are going to speak out when others speak against them. And they're entitled to that. It is a dog-eat-dog world on social media. No matter what happens, it feels like a lose-lose situation regardless. Because I can have someone go and make a heinous lie about me, which, you know, that's already happened. But then I can go and say my piece about it, but does it really matter? It matters to the people that care to listen and want to know, but it doesn't really matter to the people that are causing the issues and starting the lies and the rumors, because for them, that brings content, that brings drama, that brings views. And that's why a lot of these influencers do what they do. And that's why I chose to take my channel in the direction that I did, because one, I enjoy talking about reality shows, and Vanderpump was one of my favorite shows, and it just so happened there was a lot of drama behind it. But I also like talking with all of you guys about your opinions about everything that's happening. And it's like we're looking down in their world of what's going on, and we're just giving our perspective. We're not trying to hurt any of them. Where like smaller creators are out for blood. They're literally out to hurt people they don't even know, just for a view, just for a click, just for a sub. And I am not about that. So I enjoy doing this. I'm glad you guys all enjoy it as well. And I will continue to do this because it is something I enjoy. And it's much more peaceful. Though I still deal with backlash because I do speak my mind on situations that are happening online. And people don't like that. I have an opinion. Though when you put it on the internet, you are allowing others to have an opinion. So when Rachel puts something out on her podcast that maybe other people will not agree with, they have the right to speak their mind and opinion about how they feel regarding what she said. And it could be a then train wreck of drama because of the one thing that she said. So though she says she wants to get out of it, technically, regardless, she could say something tomorrow on her podcast and it can turn into a whirlwind tornado of drama just by what she said. And she does not realize that, though she does realize that, because she knows, because it's happened before. And personally, in this Victoria situation, my opinion is she wanted her 15 minutes of fame, and yes, to be able to say her side of the situation to things that were said, because she knew it would make herself look bad. But did she help her case? I don't really think she did. And reality is, even if she spoke the truth and said, yes, I have an issue and I do need help, would it have been any different? It might have been. She might have had more people rallying around her to say, you know what, good for you for admitting that you need help, and I hope that you get the help that you need. Now that you can admit this, go do it. But her just ignoring the issues and making it seem like it's something else that it wasn't just means that she's in denial of what's really going on. And that's how I see that. Let me know what you guys think. You know I love hearing what you guys have to say.
No, and you know what else I think is interesting on that is the stuff that they could have used for the show. Like the show still, this entire season was centered around Scandoval and the results and the fallout. And now you've got all this drama unfolding on social media. Like, do you think they sort of strung out Scandoval too long this season? How do you see that?
Yeah, I do feel like Scandoval has been dragged out for far too long. I will just say that it makes sense from a producer standpoint, I guess, to cover the entire season of Scandoval, because in real time, when this is all happening, that's all anyone could ever talk about. So I think the reason why it seems drung out is because there's a little bit of a time warp and it's a delayed reaction. I think maybe it would have been best for them to like not pick up cameras right away because it was so fresh, but they're also trying to capture all the drama in real time, and this was like a gold mine to them. So
sure, it's a good point.
Listen, I get producers love when there's drama because it's a gold mine for certain situations. But honestly, I do believe that they picked up cameras right away to film what was going on with Scandoval because of how big that it got. And they wanted to capture it all in real time, what was going on, what emotions were going through people's heads, how people were feeling, how they were reacting to one another, what was going on between this person, that person, and the situation. And yeah, maybe it did feel like it got dragged out a bit because of the time lapse, but then you have Rachel also on her podcast sitting there making it seem like that they're still talking about her to this day, when reality was they were talking about it as it was all progressing and they were catching it on camera. And life, yes, has changed and things have been different. At this point, at the end of filming, Tom got a new girlfriend. Schwartz got a new girlfriend. Things have changed. Ariana went from Dancing with the Stars to Broadway to now Love Island with a restaurant opened with Katie. And, Lala's pregnant. So they needed to capture what was happening from everything that evolved from a 7-month affair that they did not know was happening, and how people were going to pick up the pieces from everything that was just left like that. And I thought it was very interesting to watch how these people got along and how they reacted to certain situations and how it went for them. I think we saw a lot in the tabloids that were very off base with what was going on, and it was very nice to see that that's not what was really happening within the show, though they were not off base on some other things, and it was interesting to see that they had got it right, and oh my god, I still can't believe that it was going on. I do think for them to have a break for this summer and then maybe pick back up in the fall is a good thing. It gives time for people to heal some of the wounds, to get counseling, to have that time off, that needed break because of everything that they just went through for over a year and a half. And we can see them all maybe in a different light, in a more calmer light, in a light where they came out from the ashes and they rose up, and here is where they are now. Are they still picking up pieces? Are there still issues? Or has things been resolved? And I think it will be interesting to watch if they do pick back up in the fall. I do think, like, for instance, with the Valley, the way the Valley left this season, they didn't even have a reunion. And so many people got divorced or were filing for divorce or got separated as soon as they were done filming. And what did they do? They picked back up cameras, or they are picking back up cameras in July, because people want to know what this fallout is going to be like for some of these people and how they're going to handle these situations. And people can relate to this in their real lives, because this is what happens when, you know, a marriage goes astray, or they go their separate ways, or they get separated or divorced. What happens, how people pick up the pieces, how they move on from a situation. And I think for the Valley, that's going to be very interesting to watch as well. I'm glad that they're picking up cameras right away for them. And that way we can see kind of what happened after they stopped filming and what happened from then on till now. I think that's very well produced as well. I think the producers kind of know what they're doing, and in my opinion, they also know what makes a good show. So they're doing what they need to do. Whether we agree with it or not, that's a different story. I also want to play you this clip really quick of Jax and Brittany talking about the Valley picking up filming in July, because I thought it was really interesting. So here it is.
I know you guys are missing the Valley. Don't you guys worry. We are starting back up. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the date, but in July, a lot is going down. A lot is going to happen. Like I said before, we have a whole new production cast and a whole new production crew, and I'm super excited about that. You guys are you're in for it, because I'm going to make sure there is things that are going to be told this time.
What the heck are you doing?
I feel like everything wasn't let out of the bag. I feel like there was a lot of like, why wasn't this shown? Why wasn't this shown? And that's not going to happen.
Oh,
Some of you people are going to be in for a surprise.
Here goes Jax.
I'm just saying.
Trying to bring the drama. We haven't even started yet.
I don't need to bring the drama. It's already there. They just didn't put it on the TV, and I'm shocked.
Gosh. This is going to be a hard season for me and you to film, I feel like.
Why?
This might be one of the toughest
ones.
ones.
Why do you think?
Because we're in such a weird spot.
But I think we're okay right now. If we can keep this up.
We are okay right now, and then tomorrow we could be screaming at each other.
That's true.
Like, there's no in between.
I know. There is no in between. There really is not.
So, it's very up and down.
I don't think so. I'm not going to. I've been going over in my head like how I'm going to play this season out. Like, how am I going to do this? Or am I going to be sit back? Am I going to be crazy? And definitely not going to be attacking anybody. Well, definitely not you. I'm not going to be attacking you or not talking down to you. But
yes, please do not.
I think, by the way, the medication is really helping. By the way, I think it is. I think I go through spurts with it, but I do think it is helping.
We'll stick to it and see if you like it or not.
But anyway, yeah, I'm excited for the season. But yeah, there's some things that need to be out of the bag. Cat needs to be out of the bag on a few different things, and I'm a little.
He's already trying to tease the people.
Oh, I'm not going to tease. You guys are going to be. You guys are going to love it. But we start.
There's a lot
going
on with everybody, so it's going to be a good season.
So your old producer, I just won't name, came out actually against Scheana Shay. I'm not sure if you saw Scheana say that producers interfered with the season and said, if you can't work this out, we may have to cancel the show. What do you believe there? And can you speak to how producers inserted themselves into your situation?
Yeah, I'll say this. So yes, there was a come to Jesus moment, supposedly. And I do remember when Tom was still trying to reach out to me, he told my publicist, because he was only in contact with my publicist. I had his number blocked and I wasn't replying to his emails. But he told my publicist that they brought everyone into the green room and that they were pretty much saying, like, there's going to be a shift. We don't want to talk about this anymore, and Rachel's not coming back. So we need you guys to create other drama, essentially, and like move on from the Scandoval because it's been drugged out too far.
Right.
Again, funny that the producer is bringing up something that's going on with Scheana and the producers. I do want to play Scheana's clip of what she said on her podcast regarding this. So let's take a listen now.
Watching it back, and this is not me even though people will probably say it is, trying to backpedal or gain 1% of the audience back. I think I've lost who I've lost, and maybe there will be a season 12 and people will understand more of me. But I feel like with Ariana walking away after we filmed the reunion and all of that, I do feel a little differently because and this is where I get in trouble in this friend group, is because I live in the gray and I always see both sides. Completely understand Lala being like, you know what, you still live in the house with him, you still are on a show with him, then you should film the season finale with him. I understand that. Then I also understand Ariana being like, but this isn't real and we're supposed to film our real lives. So it's like there are two things that can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
And seeing her stand her ground, I'm like, okay, respect. You didn't cave and you held on to your boundary. That wasn't what was the frustrating thing. And in that moment when Lala lost her shit, and I was like, I agree with you. It was a whole season of feeling like we all kind of had to walk on eggshells. Like, I know Alex Baskin has said that mid-season, the show was not in a good place. It was, X, Y, and Z needs to happen or we're going to have a short season and the show's going to be canceled. And that's it. Go live your lives.
Yeah.
I think Lala and I felt a lot of pressure after that day when it was like, well, we don't want the show to get canceled, and not just for ourselves and our families, but there's a crew of, 80, 100 people who work on this show. And I said this at the reunion, which you didn't see, but I was like, I feel like we're doing our jobs also for all of these people. We want to keep this going.
Yeah.
And so when someone does just walk away, they don't care if the show ends, it's not just about us.
Yeah.
There's so many more people that do rely on this. And that's where it just got really hard because I'm like, I do understand and respect your boundaries, but it just made it really difficult.
Now, I also know that Lala went on a podcast where they asked her about this meeting, and Lala had some things to say regarding it as well. And I want you guys to hear it, so let's take a listen.
Lala /Lauren from Utah throws her dear friend Scheana Shay under the bus during her 2Ts in a podcast interview. Let me act like I'm surprised. Wow, shocked.
Do you feel used by production at all this season? Is there any truth to what Scheana is saying about production telling you guys what to do and say?
Sheesh is my friend, a dear friend of mine, and I love her tremendously. I am a lone wolf. I don't share opinions with people. If I agree with you, that doesn't mean that I'm blindly loyal. It just means I agree with something you said. I have never been a puppet to production. I in no way, shape, or form felt that production was trying to get me to lean one way or the other.
Was there a meeting mid-season for you guys to talk?
There was a meeting mid-season. What I gathered from that meeting was not what Scheana gathered.
What did Scheana gather?
What it sounds like, it was was the show in jeopardy? Yes. And not because of anybody else except Tom Sandoval. You wrecked the group. The show's based on the group.
Scheana and Lala took two really different routes after the reunion. And after all the backlash they received, Scheana is writing the whole producers pushed me in this direction because I cannot say no, so I do anything I am told. Lauren is saying, nah, they didn't tell me to do anything. I'm just badass and I'm me. I'm not a good friend. I'm not a great friend, but guys, that doesn't matter. I'm doing this for the audience, for my rabid fans. I'm bringing you great reality TV, but in actuality, I actually ruined one of the best reality TV shows ever. But yeah, Scheana Shay, this is what it's like to have not a great friend, not a good friend, but a Lauren from Utah as your best friend.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but what Rachel said that Tom told her publicist seems very different compared to what Scheana and even Lala both said. Was the show in jeopardy? Yes. And it was because none of them were getting along with Tom Sandoval. And what maybe they thought was that the group needed to be more together. And it was very broken. And yes, we knew the group was broken because of what Tom and Rachel did. But Rachel was not returning. So then it was just Tom. And there was isolation from Tom. And they couldn't just have that all season. I don't necessarily think that they wanted them to create other drama, as Rachel said. But more of, we need to get this group back together because that's what this show is about, was your friendship, your bonds, how you guys work through the situations. And right now, no one's working through this. You're just still pissed off, which is understandable, but something needs to happen where you guys can listen to each other, talk to each other, and hear each other out, and that's what they needed. They needed the conversations to happen on what they were all feeling. That's what I got from it. I can also say that on June 7th, Alex Baskin denied making a vile threat about bringing the show to an end. He said, and I quote, "We did get the entire cast together and we thought we had hit a point in the season where I actually think that they were impacted by what was happening on social media," he said on a panel. "We basically were telling them to drown out the noise and make the show that they had made over the previous 10 seasons, and that didn't mean we asked them to manufacture anything." He also said it didn't mean that we gave them any specific talking points. It just meant that we had made a show that worked because it was everyone rowing in the same direction and reacting to each other, and we weren't getting away from that. So we thought that we had to intervene in that sense. I will also say he said, "I think we will do an analysis of what else we need to consider for the show, and that's who returns and what the complex of the cast looks like. I think everyone needs a little bit of time to live their lives, and then we can pick back up on them in a different spot." So, from my perspective, Rachel was adding drama to the situation of what was actually not said to make drama about what wasn't said. So she's trying to say, oh, Alex went in there and they said that they needed to create more drama for this season. No, that's what no one said. You're the only one saying that, Rachel. And that's what you heard from Tom, who talked to your publicist, who Tom is a pathological liar. He's a manipulator. He's a narcissist, in my opinion. So are we going to believe what Scheana, Lala, and Alex said, or what Tom Sandoval said? You guys can decide and let me know down below.
So you posted something about your festival, and I think you wrote that somebody called you Rocky, and even No Filter Zach quoted you and embraced it, saying, I think he called you Rocky, Rocky Bang Bang, right? And he praised you for leaning into it and having some fun about it. Can you explain the name situation all the time, the many names?
Well, I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. I'm going to show you exactly what they're talking about. And it was with No Filter with Zach Peters, a.k.a. No Filter with Zach on IG. He's also on YouTube, so I will link his IG and YouTube down below. Check him out. He talks everything Bravo as well. But I find what he had to say more true and accurate than what she might possibly have to say after this. Let's check it out, though.
Okay, this one is for the true No Filter podcast listeners. What is the nickname that we always refer to Rachel Raquel as? Rocky Rocky Bang Bang. Which was never meant to be like a mean or like trolly name for her. It was just like, oh, bang, there's a headline. Oh, bang, there's a headline. Like after Scandoval, she was just banging her way everywhere, right? She was all over the news. So Raquel banging her way all through the news became Rocky Rocky Bang Bang. And that's what we often refer to her as. Well, it seems we caught her attention. Today, people kept sending me this post that she put on her feed from the Lib Festival. And in the caption, she talks about how in high school, they used to call her Rocky. And along with the post, she included a poll. She wants to know, should she embrace this nickname? And in the poll results, she wants to know if she should embrace Rocky Rocky Bang Bang all the way. Listen, I know I've had my critiques about her, but she's owning it. She's embracing it. She's clearly got a sense of humor about it. And you know what? Props to you, girl. I gotta give the chick credit. This gave me a nice little chuckle. I see you, girl. I see you.
Yeah, so it's just funny and cute to me. Yeah, so when I was at the festival, I met some cool people, and they all had interesting names, and I met a new friend. His name was Arise. I had my hat on, and I was like, pew pew, and then we exchanged phone numbers and I put my contact in his phone as Rocky Bang Bang. And I was like, you can call me Rocky. And I just feel like my given name is Rachel. I changed my name back to Rachel, or returned to my given name, as a way to reconnect with my true self. And the name Raquel came out of a place where I felt like I wasn't worthy and I wanted to be something that I wasn't. So it came out of a place of insecurity, and I was trying to overcome a lot of social anxiety and trying to conform myself into who I thought other people wanted me to be. And so coming back to my given name is a way for me to honor myself, and referring to myself as Raquel is a way to acknowledge that part of me that really wanted to belong. And as I'm making new friends that are incredible people, and I truly believe the people that you surround yourself with, you become more alike. So I'm making it an effort to surround myself with people that I want to be more like. And I'm just meeting the most incredible people that want to see the world be a better place and are actively working to make a difference in other people's lives. And they have so much joy and passion to share. I've been introducing myself as Rocky to my new friends because it's a cute nickname. I also went by Rocky when I did volleyball as like a cute sporty name. So it's a nickname, and I don't think it needs to be anything crazy. Like, you can say whatever you want about me. I like nicknames, and I like connecting to the different parts within me. And it doesn't mean I have a whole new identity or anything. It just means that I'm an integrated human being.
I like it. My daughter has like 4 nicknames too. It's just
Yeah.
the name.
But wait, I thought she changed her name back when she was in school to Raquel. So that's why people from Vanderpump knew her as Raquel, because that's how they were introduced to her. She didn't change her name for Vanderpump like some people maybe did. And in my opinion, she's very aware of the Rocky Bang Bang. Because she wouldn't have put that into somebody's phone just because she's been calling herself Rocky and introducing herself as Rocky to her friends if she didn't understand that whole joke. Because, I don't think, oh, Rocky Bang Bang, when I think of the name Rocky. No, that's not really what I think about. She had to have known. And whether she wanted to embrace it, whatever. And listen, I understand about nicknames. My name is, original name is Jacqueline on my birth certificate. People call me Jackie. In high school, I got the nickname Jackie Sunshine, which stayed with me throughout my life. And when I started this channel, originally it was with 2 other people that left. So we wanted to come up with a name that people knew because they knew my name. So we came up with Sunshinery from Sunshine, because I've been called Sunshine, Sunny, Sun. Those are my nicknames, but it's always been related to the same nickname, Sunshine. Even Sunshinery comes from sunshine. So it's not like my nickname is like Sunshine, Moon, Tammy, or Mary. I don't know. You know what I mean? Her nicknames just seem not cohesive. It's like she's giving herself nicknames for different personas that she has. Maybe that's just me, but that's what it seems like. It's like, this is the new me, this is my new persona, so this is my new nickname. Whether you know me in real life or you know me from the internet, people know me as Jackie, Sunshine, or Jackie, or Sunny, or Sunshine, or Sunshinery. Even the other day, I had friends of mine that I haven't seen in years drove by the house and they're screaming Jackie Sunshine out the window. And I'm like, wait. Wait. And they actually came back around and we got to talk. But it was just like, For me, it's weird because I haven't seen a lot of people since high school. So the fact that they even remembered my nickname from high school and that's how they know me, it's like, okay, I get it. I mean, I had a great friend who passed away. I gave him the nickname Moose. And literally his whole life after that, no one called him Mike. Everybody called him Moose. He was known as Moose to everybody. So I get nicknames. I get wanting to change your nickname when situations aren't the best. I just don't see how it goes from Rachel to Raquel to Rocky. Because when I think of Rachel, I don't think of Rocky. Maybe like Rach or Shell or Shelly. But not... I don't know. Like, what would you give her as a nickname that goes with Rachel? Unless she wants to be Rocky Rocky Bang Bang. And I'm probably saying that backwards. Rocky Bang Bang. Like, hey, let her embrace whatever persona she wants to embrace. Just let us know what we need to call you. Rachel, Raquel, Rocky. What do you want us to call you? Let us know. Because you're confusing us all.
I'm going to read something, and then I want to ask you about it. So Anne, Tom's former assistant from VPR, was asked if she's listening to your podcast, Rachel Goes Rogue. And she said, I am. Part curiosity, part trying to figure out my own feelings, and part really interested in her journey through therapy. As someone who does a lot of therapy, I think it's helpful to hold space, give people the benefit of the doubt when they're trying to do better, not for anyone else but themselves. The hope is that we can all evolve into better humans. But also, I think it's very important to hold space for the people who are hurt, victimized by situations like this, and allow them to do what they need to do to feel safe. How does that make you feel?
Wow. Thanks, Anne. No, that feels really nice and heartwarming. And yeah, that feels good because I am truly trying to be a better person and make better decisions for myself and do that in a way that's safe for me. And I feel acknowledged and respected. And I hope Anne is doing well. And I know it's been like a crazy year for her, but like I think it's awesome that she started her own podcast. It's called We Signed an NDA.
Have you listened to it?
Yeah, I have. It's about like the assistant's perspective on the entertainment industry chaos. And it's very creative and cute and funny. And so, yeah, I'm a supporter of her podcast as well.
Yeah, I think she's clever. They're citing her as a kind of breakout from the show. So I find that interesting. Something else she recently just said that was quite interesting. Can you speak to that?
So Anne and her co-host Amanda went onto your Bish Therapist podcast. And I've had Melissa on my podcast before, and I do love tuning into her perspective on pop culture from a therapist's point of view. And I did get a chance to listen to this, and Amanda had an interesting point saying something along the lines of, we're going to look back at this time with unscripted TV and think of it as like children working in coal mines, essentially, something along those lines, like saying how cast members don't have the resources that they need as humans, pretty much saying that it's unethical. Yeah, I thought that was nice to hear because I think we can all agree to a certain extent. Like it's not that far-fetched of a concept. I think we've all kind of seen how people have been affected by being on shows like Vanderpump Rules, and that, there really needs to be more support in that area.
So we have a few things to unpack here. First, I wanted to find this comment that Anne said that she listened to Rachel's podcast and all of that. I searched and searched. I did know that they had just been on the Bish Therapist, and I was like, maybe it was in that episode and I just missed it. I re-listened to the whole thing just now and it wasn't there. So now I'm searching and I'm searching and I'm searching. Finally, I find it. It was a Variety article called Tom Sandoval's Assistant Tells All Why Anne Was Crushed When He Cheated, How She Kept the Peace with Ariana, and Her Vanderpump Future. This was from 4 months ago. Why Rachel's producer is bringing this statement up now kind of makes me think like she's just trying to cause an issue or drama where there doesn't need to be. But I did find where she talks about it, and she does say exactly what the producer said, because I had to put those words in to actually find this goddamn article. So they first ask her, what do you think of Rachel Leviss? Which she says, people have multiple dimensions, and when you like someone and you find out something about them that hurts to hear, it can be difficult to put those two sides of someone together. Maybe I'm way too sensitive, but I'm still kind of processing it. Again, this was 4 months ago. Then they asked her, are you listening to her podcast? Rachel goes rogue. She says, I am. Part curious, part trying to figure out my own feelings, and part really interested in her journey through her therapy. As someone who does a lot of therapy, I think it is helpful to hold space, give people the benefit of the doubt when they are trying to do better, not for anyone else but themselves. The hope is that we all can evolve into better humans, right? But also, just wanted to add, I think it's very important to hold space for the people who were hurt, victimized by situations like this, and allow them to do what they need to do to feel safe. We all know that Rachel was hurt by this. Clearly, it affected her. She wasn't processing her thoughts clearly. She was lying and manipulating her friends because she wanted to be in this secret relationship affair that she was having with Sandoval. And we know that she was hurt. Was she victimized? She was, clearly, with the whole recording without her consent. But was she also victimized by his narcissism, his manipulation? Yeah, she was. I will give Rachel all of that. So she is holding a space for herself to better understand it and hopefully also help others. She has had great therapists on there that have had great discussions. I do think she doesn't necessarily always need to bring it back to Rachel and what Rachel's going through, but that's her podcast and that's how she portrays it. Now, it would be interesting to know if Anne is still listening to her podcast now, 4 months later. That was the thing. It's like, the producer made it seem like Anne had just said this. So that's why I was like, oh my God, did I miss this in your Bish therapist podcast? Like, where did she say that? So I don't know if the producer is trying to bring this up to throw Anne's name out there to cause some issues. I don't know. But it was just weird that she would bring up a statement that's 4 months old when they're bringing up new headline news kind of things. Now, when it comes to what Amanda said about children working in coal mines, I clipped that part of the Your Bish therapist because I think you guys really need to hear it, because I don't think Rachel really fully understood exactly what they were talking about. So let's take a listen.
Truly. And it's nice. I like to see you together because it's like, one of the things people like about me is I'm just authentic. I'm myself. I'm not here for the limelight. I'm just going to say, how I feel. But you can sense when there's like a joyful authenticity to people. And I do feel like you both really do have that. And I was listening to the podcast and I was like, this is like great. I mean, you laugh, you have a kiki, you talk about some great stuff. And by the way, I do want to read the description of the pod. It's a comedy podcast that dissects pop culture, modern celebrity with a focus on reality TV and platforms the voices that Hollywood overlooks, which for me, that is really special because I think, first of all, I don't understand LA at all. I live on the East Coast and it seems wild to me. It just seems like its own microcosm of insanity. Is that kind of, that's kind of about it.
Yeah. And it's such a young industry that like, there's so many rules that they're trying to figure out, or like the people who can manipulate these rules, like kind of use it as an advantage. But I feel like because it's like so young and it is a little lawless, like the Wild West a little bit in terms of like some ethical values. We have to talk about it, but it's always easy. Like both of us are comedians. It's always easy to talk about things that mean a lot to us, but like through a comical standpoint. Like, right. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I feel like it's like how we look back at the like children in coal mines. We're like, what the hell were we thinking? Like,
the uranium girls, the match girls. Like,
literally, like I think there's going to be, and I'm not saying all elements of it, but like I think there's going to be parallels between like ways that we have ceased to protect, regulate, sort of just like generally create space for or create a better environment for reality TV stars.
Yeah.
Like, that we're not doing that now, and we're going to look back and be like, what the fuck, that was like, and it's it's really sad when you think about like the very real mental health consequences that are a result of this lack of like regulation, both like TV wise, but then also just like socially on social media.
Yes, and I swear that's where I come in, because I feel that we are seeing, especially on Vanderpump Rules, all these wild clinical concepts, and there's no explanation. There's very rarely trigger warnings, which is one of my biggest beefs, because it's not hard to put something up when we're talking about, you know, really hard topics. But I feel like for me, it was like, I want to come into this space and make something good out of something that inherently is a kind of gross. And, yes, it's fun, it's entertainment, but there is such important people and important stuff going on behind the scenes that I feel like you guys, you ladies and myself we're coming from this perspective of like, let's make something great out of something that might be inherently a little icky.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Like the troublemakers aren't the people who like see and discuss and talk and break down, the relationships of everyone. The troublemakers are the people who are silencing the assistants or the people who are getting like shit on,
Right. Honestly, I think Rachel missed the mark completely on what Amanda was trying to say, along with Anne and your Bish therapist, Melissa. What they were trying to say is, we're going to look back on this in like 10, 20 to 100 years and think, wow, how did we let social media affect so many people's lives? And these TV shows with reality stars where the producers are kind of creating like, well, so-and-so said this about you. Are you going to talk about that? Creating that kind of drama that can affect somebody's mental health and situation. And how can we allow it? And we're going to look back on that and think, why didn't we do something to prevent all of this from happening? But as social media grows, we grow with it. It was something that we never had before. So it's something you can't put regulations into place or make things happen that probably shouldn't be happening until you actually go through it. So it's like, we didn't realize that social media was having such an impact on young people and anyone in general until we realized, having it now for so many years, that it's causing people's mental health to decline. It's affecting people by the things people say, the way people react, the way people lie about other people, just how it is. And that's where Rachel missed the mark on it. And I just think that's Rachel for you. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.
What do you think about people saying she is a breakout? Because so now, she seems to be quite open-minded, she's quite funny. And now she, her story was coming between Tom and Ariana's storyline, and now she's kind of breaking out. What do you think about that?
Good for her. I think that's awesome. I think she's really taken an opportunity and is able to spread joy in the way that she feels accomplished in doing, creating her own podcast and having a little comedic twist to it. And I think that must be very rewarding for her.
And I'm truly happy for Anne. I think she's doing a wonderful job. And yeah, she's spreading her wings too, and she's taking opportunities, and she's using it to her benefit. She ultimately loves being a comedian and doing her podcast. I'm happy for her there. And she just did a Duracell commercial with Ariana, as well as now her working for Ariana at Something About Her. So Anne is just doing what she is happy doing, and that's all that matters. And I say the same thing. Good for Anne. Anne deserves everything she gets. She's a wonderful person. Everything that I've heard and learned about Anne, I've loved. And I love listening to their podcast, and we might do it some more here on my channel as well. But I want you guys to see the Duracell commercial, so let's look at it.
Hi, I'm Anne. You may know me from my old job, but I just made a premium upgrade. Yeah, we're not gonna need that. I buy my own batteries. And by the way, I always bought the batteries. And I could tell you all about them. Because I didn't sign an NDA. Power Boost ingredients are what make Duracell different. And trust me, different is good.
Hey, Ann.
Hey, girl.
Oh, great. You bought batteries. Again.
Of course. Got to stock up your dream home.
All right, Rachel. So I want to ask you, there was a lot of people in comments and just chatter saying you're wondering why you hadn't addressed Ariana's comments about you that she made in the reunion, which was something to this effect. And this bitch has to effing talk about me all the time. How does that make you feel, or how would you respond to that?
The reason why I didn't address it during the podcast episode is because exactly that. Like, I don't need to talk about Ariana any more than I deem necessary to get my point across. And unfortunately, yes, Ariana's name has come out of my mouth, and it is not to bash her in any way. It's to provide context to my experience and the story that I'm sharing with you guys as a person who was in my life. So that is that. And then, like her saying that about me, it made me think, well, yeah, it sucks having the show talk about me every single week, and not only talk about me, but to completely defame me and to push a narrative that is not accurate. So I get it. I understand her pain when it comes to me saying her name on my podcast, and I'm sure it's infuriating and frustrating. I just think that I've done it in a way that is ultimately respectful to her, and I don't plan on continuing to talk about her anymore because she is not a part of my life anymore.
And this is what I mean by, I feel like these producers are trying to cause drama where there doesn't need to be drama. Why did you have to ask Rachel that question? I understand people wanted to know why she didn't respond to her. She could have easily been like, I understand that Ariana is still hurt by everything she's gone through because of my actions and having an affair with her ex-boyfriend and hiding it behind her back and lying to her and manipulating her. So I understand her frustrations. I see why she's still upset. She's allowed to still be upset. She's allowed to still be angry. She's allowed to still be grieving. But instead, Rachel, of course, turns it around on her. Well, now she knows how it feels to have to hear my name every week when it's like I'm not even there. Why do they have to say my name? Rachel, you were the cause of this situation. You were the cause of the dynamic of this group falling apart by your actions with Tom Sandoval. She's grieving from the pain that you caused her. You are not a victim, Rachel. You knew what you were doing, whether you were manipulated or not. You knew what you were doing was hurting your friend. And instead of taking this opportunity now to be like, I understand she's still hurt by the actions that happened, and I will not continue to speak her name because she's living her best life just like I want to live mine, makes you look like an idiot, in my opinion. Oh, it infuriates me that she just doesn't get it. And it's like, all of this work and you still just don't understand, Rachel. Rocky, Raquel, whatever your name is today. And then don't sit there and say like, well, I know how she feels, and afterwards, really? Like, she really is making me a little mad right now. Breathe in, breathe out. It's one of those moments, but Rachel, she's just not getting it. I don't know. I just, sometimes when I think about how Lala is like, she's like a robot, I'm trying to program. Like, that's what I think about. I'm not gonna lie. She's literally trying to program herself to figure out what the fuck she's gonna say. Like, oh my God. Learn to get better with what you're gonna say if you're gonna have a podcast and it's gonna be about mental health awareness. You need to realize there are trigger words. There are things that need to be taken very lightly and sensitive, and if that's the direction your podcast is going in, have more empathy for others. That's something you don't have, Rachel, and that's my opinion. And again, with her just not realizing like when this was filmed, all of that, when Ariana was saying maybe Rachel's name, which I don't really think she said her name, but like a couple times. But like everybody else talking about her was right after everything happened. You cannot expect people to not say your name when they're picking up the pieces left behind by you that you, yes, went and did what you needed to do to get help, but then chose not to even make an ounce of even effort to be sincere and remorseful for what you've done. And that's the problem I have.
So I'm not sure if you've heard or not, or you're aware or not, but Tom Sandoval is going to be in the upcoming season of The Traitors. Will you be watching that?
Woo! No way. I don't know. I think I might have to tune in to watch that. I don't know why. I watched Special Forces. I did get asked to be on that, and Tom was trying to convince me to go on Special Forces with him. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm going to get out of this inpatient treatment facility and go straight into like a horrible, traumatic situation where they're all yelling at me and telling me that I'm a piece of S and all that stuff. No, that's like the opposite of what I want. Anyway, yeah, I did watch that, and I did kind of have like a little bit of joy seeing him go through painful experiences. I may have to tune in for Traitors. I have been watching last season's Traitors, and the dynamic is interesting. I don't know many of the people on the cast, but I may have to tune in for this because I feel like he is a master manipulator, and it would be very interesting to see his tactics in a situation where it's encouraged to be manipulative. So
psychological warfare.
Yeah, like more of a put on your psychology cap for this one because it sounds very entertaining.
I'd have to agree with you. He'll probably be pretty good at that.
I kind of find that very interesting that she was asked to be on Special Forces. I really wonder if that's true or not. I want to know what you guys think down below. Do you think she was really asked to be on Special Forces? Now, her admitting that she actually watched Special Forces and got pleasure in seeing him tortured just shows the petty Betty that she is, in my opinion. I do understand it, though, seeing it from her perspective of, like, you hurt me, so I'm happy to watch you go through hell, in that sense. But for someone that wanted to move on with her life, again, why would you watch Special Forces? Why would you watch Vanderpump? And now you're saying you will watch The Traitors 3, even though he is going to be on it, because you would just love to see how he's going to manipulate everybody on it. Girl, you got some problems. And clearly, whatever you're doing, you need to focus more on and less of the drama that you surround yourself around. You're the only one surrounding yourself around it by indulging in it. I'll say this. If I know someone's making a hate video on me, talking shit about me, do I watch that shit? Hell to the fucking no. I might have a friend tell me, what was said here and there, and then rant to them and, get over it in 2 minutes. But other than that, I do not watch any videos that people make on me. You know why? It's peaceful. I don't want it in my life. I don't give a fuck what somebody that doesn't know me thinks. They mean nothing to me. Now, if you were my friend and doing something like that to me, yeah, I'm going to find that very hurtful. And I might watch. And I might get upset. And I might say something in return. But for the most part, I have been, even when it's come to situations like that, not giving them the time of day. Once you are betrayed me, I'm done. So it's like, why would she put herself through that torture? I think she enjoys it. Now, I will say, The Traitors 2 has been freaking amazing. I am going to be watching Traitors 3, not for Tom Sandoval, just because I enjoy the show. And I did get some insider tea from an IG fan account. So let's check that out, because I know you'll like it.
Wait, Lala can't turn down The Traitors? Well, that's what she's claiming now. She was offered to be part of the season 2 cast of The Traitors, which was last season, not this current season, and she turned it down because she said the timing just wasn't there. I mean, what a miss that was. That was such a good season with such a good cast. I feel like that was a total miss on her part. But anyway, we have season 3 that just finished filming. And season 3 features her Vanderpump Rules co-star Tom Sandoval. He just wrapped filming for Traitors season 3, uncertain of when that's going to air, but she says that she looks forward to seeing him on The Traitors. She's not sure if he's going to be a traitor because she said that might be too obvious, or if he'll be a faithful, but she cannot wait to psychoanalyze him and the rest of the cast. What do you think? Are you excited to see Sandoval? Are you bummed that we missed Lala on The Traitors? Comment below.
Okay, let's see. One other way. So Rachel, did you see the promo of Lisa Vanderpump on Call Her Daddy, where she uses a clip of your voice and that sort of infamous Rose Hope on the Balcony quote?
Yes, I did. And I thought it was very funny and clever. And it also made me think back to that time when I recorded that. And yeah, in the moment, I was very confused by Lisa's comment. But in my interview chair, I do remember a producer suggesting that I say, "Oh, does everyone know that Pope drinks rosé on the balcony?" And I went with it because I thought it was kind of funny. And yeah, it like played into this stereotype of being like this dumb girl. But also like I didn't know myself well enough to provide other forms of entertainment at that time, because I also am not somebody who's very confrontational, and I don't like conflict. So if I'm able to provide entertainment in the form of being silly and a little bit like a Karen from Mean Girls, then that's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you only knew then what you know now.
Yeah, and the only way I know what I know now is what I went through.
Oh, you know I got the clip from Call Her Daddy. What I want to know is, do you guys want me to cover that podcast episode? One of my favorite podcasts that I did here on my channel, and I'm not going to lie, was the Call Her Daddy podcast with Ariana. I love Lisa Vanderpump. I know people love to hate her. She's always been kind of one of my favorite housewives just by her very blunt and crazy remarks that she makes. She's Lisa Vanderpump and nobody else can be her. So I am thinking about covering the podcast, but I want to know what you guys think. And somehow, in a way, I feel like maybe the producers did give her that line to say because, well, Rachel's just not funny regardless. But I also feel like maybe they were like, did you think the Pope drank rosé on a balcony? And she was like, does the Pope drink rosé on a balcony? And they clipped that. I don't think it exactly went like she's saying it went, if you know what I mean. But let's take a look at the clip because it is pretty fucking hilarious.
Hi, Lisa. Hello. Would you like anything to drink? A rosé, perhaps?
Does the Pope have a balcony?
What?
Does the Pope have a balcony?
I'm so confused. Does everyone know that the Pope drinks rosé on the balcony?
You're in a new phase in your life in every sense of the word. Are you going to be open on this podcast to sharing and discussing your future dating life?
You'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
It's interesting getting back into the dating world and having these new experiences, and it's still very early, but what I'm experiencing will help form different types of questions to ask different dating therapists or dating coaches or people that are experienced in knowledge in that world, because it is interesting having these new experiences, and it's kind of fun, and I would like to share some of that, but I don't, like I would like to keep my dating life private, and eventually when I do find the right person and we do feel like it's the time to be public, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I'll probably be talking from my personal experience, and you could probably like read between the lines, but hopefully you won't know who I'm talking about because I would like to keep that private.
And I get the whole, like, when you're dating somebody, you don't want it out there because then it can cause issues, especially when you're a public figure and you're just trying to get to know somebody, trying to see if you guys connect, even if it's going to work out, if you're going to go on a third date, fourth date, all of that. I do get that, and I do believe she deserves her privacy. I also do think that eventually, if she's dating somebody and it's a long time and they don't say anything, people are going to find out. I mean, we found out about Matt Dunn within a couple of days of her just posting IG stories and festival photos. So I wish her all the best in the dating arena. Of course, like she said, I'm going to continue my podcast and then I'll be asking therapists questions and hopefully it'll help me. I thought this was to help others as well. Like, I get it's about your experience, but the way you even said in the beginning, like, you hope that, like, you can provide help with other people and their experiences that they're dealing with, and can have therapists on to help with different situations different people are dealing with. But it seems like you only want therapists on to help talk about situations maybe you're going through so you can relate and hope that others can as well. That's just what I got from that. What do you guys think? We're almost done. The next part is about the festival, so enjoy the festivity of photos and videos as she talks about it.
You recently made comments that you lost over 8,000 followers and you attribute it to your festival content. Do you think that's what it was? What do you think it was about?
Okay, yes. People are like, you dummy, you think it's because of the festival content? I'm like, oh, okay. It's a few things. So I wanted to post the festival content for myself. And I do recognize now that you have to be mindful of your followers. Posting too much at once can be like annoying to people. But I wanted to remember those moments and I wanted to create a highlight for me to look back on and to remember this time, because ultimately I'm celebrating life and I feel like I'm finally able to live my life. Honestly, like on Sunday, I felt like it was my birthday and I was celebrating a rebirth of myself. I stayed up till the sun came up because I didn't want to go to sleep. And I also didn't post anything until I got home because I wanted to enjoy every single moment there. And it was an incredible experience. But yes, I did lose 8K followers at the time that I posted that dandelion photo, which I'm obsessed with. And it was more so like recognizing and kind of journaling like life, like, oh, this happened at this time. And I do recognize that it wasn't just the festival stuff. It was also the reunion aired. And also some people were commenting saying like, oh, I'm just here for the show. And so maybe my stuff isn't like show worthy. I feel like I've got my stuff together. And maybe that's not entertaining to some people. Yeah, I don't know. But like ultimately, I'm living myself for me and I'm not living my life for my followers. Although like I do essentially want to use my fame as a resource. And I do look at other people in this field that have successfully created a business with the fame as a resource to do so. And I do aspire to that. And I have a vision of what I would like to create. And I am very excited to share with you guys some of those things along the way and to have you guys be a part of this journey. And I know a lot of you have been watching Vanderpump since the very beginning and have seen me come on the show as this young, naive girl that didn't quite have a voice and didn't quite know how to navigate this world. And you've seen me grow into the young woman that I am today. And that entire transformation has been inspiring to some of you guys. And just knowing that I'm able to have that impact in that type of way is the most rewarding thing. So I'm just excited to continue to give back to that community specifically. And I think compassion goes a long way in this world. I appreciate the people that have stuck with me through all of the ups and downs and haven't given up on me, because I know that there are good things to come still, and this is just the start of a magnificent journey.
I will say, losing 8K followers just in a weekend is a lot of people to lose. I'm not quite sure what the number was before that, but 8,000 people unsubscribing is a lot. Now, I don't necessarily believe it's because of the festival photos. I just think that people are moving on from Rachel. There's nothing more really for her to tell, and she's kind of become a little bit uninteresting, and she's not being quite honest or empathetic or understanding. It's still all about her. She's the victim. And for whatever reason these people unsubscribed, they unsubscribed. Her making a post about it, she says it was to memorialize it. Then why did you edit it and it no longer exists saying the same thing it said before? That, I guess, we'll never know. But that was it for this episode of Rachel Goes Rogue. I want to know what you guys think. Why do you think she lost as many followers as she did? Did you enjoy the festival photos? It's not like it's the first time she's ever posted festival photos like that before. She did that at Stagecoach. She did that at all the other festivals that she went to previously, because I have a lot of those photos. So it's not like the festival photos, I think, are the thing. I think there's more to it, and everyone has their reasons. I'll tell you this, I'm not unfollowing Rachel because I still want to know what's going on, and that's my reasoning. But, you know, I do what I do here, so I need to know what's going on. But I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. Let me know what you think down below. And I will see you again very soon. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye now.
And we may have some history.